guess what? We gonna get some more snow. Yes. Tell me you don't love the fall. Tell me you're not in love with this. Tell me you do not love the fall and the winter. OMG, it is amazing. How is everybody doing today? Guess what? It has been 7 whole days since I saw y'all. 7, that's a long time. Do you know so much can happen in that period of time? So, as I always like to encourage everyone, it doesn't matter what your week look like. It doesn't matter what your day look like. You press forward, you made it through. So we're going to thank God that we're still here in the land of the living because we were able to push through. We were able to beat whatever obstacle tried to attack us. So I think that's a blessing. I think you should be grateful for that. So yes. Thank you for tuning in on this spectacular Saturday. And if you like me, you are enjoying the weather and the snow that's about to come. Oh, how amazing. So, I like to kick it off with fun facts. So here we go. Now, I decided that I want to know about the English language. You hear so many people learning our language as a second language. It is popular. So I wanted to know how this all started. When was it created? How was it created? So after some extensive research, right, I'm going to tell you what I found out about our English language. Okay, so the history of the English language is divided into 3 main periods. You got the Old English period, which was from 450 to 1150. Then you got the Middle English, which is from 1150 to 1500. And then came the Modern English from 1500 to present. Now, Old English was developed from West Germanic dialects of the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes. The Angles, Saxons, and Jutes spoke differently, but it was closely related to what each was saying. It was also influenced by Old Norse language of the Vikings between the 8th and 11th centuries. I would love to see how those conversations went back then on a Saturday or a Tuesday. I would love to see how that looked. That was just so interesting to me. Now, Middle English, the Norman conquest in 1066 introduced Norman French, profoundly changing the language during the Middle English period. So what happened was the invasion of 1066 brought Norman French to England, which became the language of the ruling class, government, and law, while English was under commerce. Over time, the 2 languages merged. So French and English, they merged. And it's such a beautiful language, especially spoken together. I love it. With English absorbing thousands of French words, particularly in areas like law, government, and food. Now, I found that to be exciting because, I want to know about food because with food, you get dessert. So I want to know about desserts. And then, of course, you want to know about your laws and your government and everything else that comes behind that. So I found that pretty unique that was their priorities when it came to the English language and speaking it. So the Great Vowel Shift and the Renaissance marked the transition of the early modern English language. The Great Vowel Shift was a major ph- philological change where long vowels in English shifted their pronunciation, changing how words were spoken, but necessarily how they were spelled. So you could have spoke it the same way, but it could have been spelled differently. So you know how it could be this way or that way, but it's the same thing. It just has different meanings. And so it just depends on how you use it. So the invention of the printing press helped to standardize spelling and grammar, with the London dialect becoming the standard. Like, I love to hear people from London talk. Like, I think that is so unique, and I be trying to pick it up. And it's just so awesome how we can communicate. Now, this later evolved into late modern English, largely due to new vocabulary from the Institutional Revolution and the expansion of the British Empire. The expansion of the British Empire and later American influence led to English spreading globally and adopting words with many other languages. So not English and French. Now you have other language that are intertwining with our languages, and that's how you learn how to speak other languages, and you pick up on their dialect and how they use their words and their pronunciation and their grammar and how it's even spelled. So I think it is so amazing how this all worked. So later on, late modern English, 18 to present, the expansion of the British Empire and late American influence led to English spreading globally and adopting words from many other languages. Like, I think that is just so unique. Like, so very unique. Like, I can't wait to finish digging and doing more research, because, like, I just really want to know how one of those conversations started from all three periods. Like, I found that amazing. So, yes, that's the fun fact for today. Thank you. Now, we are in the month of December, right? Yes. So, with December, guess what? We are celebrating all December birthdays. So, if you are celebrating your birthday this month, please do it in decency and in order. Have fun, be safe, be careful, please. And if you know that you're going to have birthday cake, let me know. I'll tell you what to send it to, because who don't love birthday cake, right? Right. So I got some special birthdays that I would like to announce in the month of December. My niece Ambi, the first of this month, and my niece Anna. Hey, her birthday was the 4th. My sister Emily, her birthday is tomorrow, actually. Also, my cousin Arthur Kenny Gordon, good Arthur, good writer. He's also on tomorrow, the 7th. My brother in love, Tony, his birthday is on the 20th. And of course, Auntie Pam is celebrating on the 31st. So, yes, to all birthdays in the month of December, please enjoy yourselves and have fun. Please. Excuse me. Now, again, I like to also thank every person for tuning in. Like, on your Saturday, spending time with me, I so appreciate it. The support is greatly wanted and needed. Thank you also for sharing the content. Please continue to share the content, because we get the word out and we help people, and that's what we're here to do. You don't know who may be suffering financially inside and just don't want to talk about it, or too ashamed to talk about it, or don't want advice from that person that may be close to them. So share the content. It's free. It takes 2 seconds to hit that share button. You never know who you're going to change. Also, please feel free to like, love, and give feedback. We welcome that. Yes, we do. Like, I don't sit at the round table by myself. I sit at the round table with each and every one of you who participate, because your thoughts and your feedback means just that much to me. You are not excluded. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you have not subscribed to that YouTube channel, please go on over to YouTube and subscribe. Go under Anointed Accounting and hit that subscribe button. And every time I do a segment, it will be uploaded. You don't want to miss out on this information. Again, it's free. It costs nothing, nothing at all. So I got a very, 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 very important question for everyone that's listening. Do you know that excluding today, we have exactly 25 more days before we enter into 2026? My question is, are you ready? Now, you can take that question to mean whatever you want it to mean. Just, are you ready? And that's something to think about. And me personally, I came up with about 17 or 18. I'm ready for this. Am I ready for that? And when you just get to thinking, you get to understand, like, what are you ready for? What are you preparing for? So that's just something to think about. That's why I left it right there. Are you ready? And you can take that however you like to take that. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to Let's Talk Finance. Yes, I got all the announcements and the fun facts out the way. Yes. You know, our show is always going to be geared towards breaking down money with clarity, the heart, and faith. That's what we're here to do. We are so at the end of this year. Again, 25 more days. And this is the perfect time for everyone to take a step back and make sure your finances are in tip-top shape, not just ending this year, but going into next year. That's going to be so important to know where you are, because if you pay attention to your bank statements, whether it's online or whether you get it by paper, it always says the ending balance. Your ending balance is going to be your beginning balance for the next month. So you want to know where you are, right? So that's so important. So today we're going to be talking about how to close out your books with confidence, no matter how the year looked, right? Whether it was up, in the middle, down, or if it was down, 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 up, down, however it looked, we're going to learn how to close our books with confidence. And it doesn't matter if you are a business owner or individual. If you have money, any type of money, and you have income and expenses, this conversation is for you. You want to know where you are, period. So I'm going to start by talking about reviewing your finances for 2025. And as I discuss that, I have two questions for you. And this is something to think about. Have you looked at your finances for 2025 yet, overall? Have you literally sat down and said, from January up until now, let me see what my finances look like? And then outside of that, the next question is, what's the one area that you feel needs the most attention? Is it reconciliation? Is it sitting still, just trying to put everything together? Is it putting it together, whether on paper or on a spreadsheet? Is it managing? What is it? What area do you think you need the most assistance with? And I think these questions are vital because you don't want to take into 2025 that was not helping you. You don't want to put that in 2026 because it's not going to work. It's going to continue to be stagnant, and that's not what you want. You want to always level up. And it's okay if you are at a standstill for a moment. That's when you do your reevaluations. So that's why those questions are so important. And I want you to think about that. Now, I asked, are your finances in order? Meaning, what sources of income do you receive? Do you work? If you do work, do you get a W 2? Are you a contractor? Are you receiving a 1099? Are you receiving a 1099 miscellaneous because of property, because of royalties, other miscellaneous items? That's considered income. Are you receiving a 1099B, which means you have capital gains? That's income. What are your sources of income? Because that has to be reported. So you want to know what your income looks like. Now, another important question is, how many incomes are in the household? Is it a one income household? Is it a two income household? That's important. And if it's two people, is every person contributing? Is it split equally? If one person can't make that one payment, is the other person ready to handle that payment? This is something you have to think about, because this is about your finances. Now, if you worked, did you have federal withholdings taken out, or did you go exempt? If you had federal withholdings taken out, did you make sure you had enough taken out? And if you didn't, did you make estimated tax payments? If you did not make estimated tax payments, are you ready to pay that tax bill when you file your taxes? This is important because, again, you're ending 2025 and you're going into 2026. You don't want to make those same mistakes. You want to know where you are and where you stand financially. And that's first gathering all of your sources of income. You have to know what your sources of income is. And if you don't know, if you're unsure, reach out to your accountant or a trusted person that'll be able to explain this to you. Now, after you've sat and understood and gathered all of your sources of income, what is your monthly budget? Stop. Do you even have a budget for the month? And if not, why? Because, again, you want to know your income and your expenses. Time and time again, I hear so many clients tell me, Shavonna, I don't see how I made that much money. Where's the money at? Where's the money going? And my question is, you don't know who you're giving your money to? Well, I pay this and I pay that. You're doing a little bit more than this and that. Let's talk about it. Let's sit down and figure out what it is that you're spending your money on. Because I can't just tell you, okay, well, your money went over to the tree on the left side when it should have went over here to the tree on the right side. No, you have to know what expenses you have. How can you afford your expenses and cover your expenses if you don't know the expenses that you have? Make sure you have them separately. Have them categorized. The light bill with the light bill, the gas bill with the gas bill, the phone bill with the phone bill. If you have properties that are attached to you, which means you file out on a Schedule E, have those light bills, water bills, gas bills separately from your personal, because that should be coming out of two separate accounts. Again, we're not commingling funds in tax year 2026. Why? Because Shavonna has been fussing at us so nicely and politely, and she has told us that commingling funds is not good. And if we are a business and want people to respect us as a business, we have to start by treating ourselves as a business. So, again, separate that information. Put it together. If you're not one that wants to sit down and calculate this monthly, that's called bookkeeping services. Get with your accountant or your tax preparer. I'm sure both offer the service because you want to know where you at. You don't want to always assume that you're at a deficit, or you want to say, well, I'm paying this and I'm paying that. I'm not winning, I'm not losing, I'm at a standstill. How do you know? Because you don't know all of your sources of income, nor do you know all of your expenses. Why? Because you do not have a budget. Now, realistically, while we're talking about this, you want to know if you could afford all of your expenses. So sometimes we work on impulse. I know I have. Sometimes we say, oh, we'll make up for it, especially if we're counting on overtime. We cannot always do that. As much as we would like to, we cannot do that. We have to look at what the contract stated when we signed it, whether it was a 30-hour work week, 40-hour work week, whatever that was, or whatever that salary was, that's what you have to work with. If you went outside of that, now you're budgeting and living outside of your means, and that's not going to be good for you. So, here we go with some questions for you. For this tax year, since you know that we're closing this tax year, and because I've been talking about it since Q4, do you have all of your documents ready for your preparer? And I'm not talking about your W-2s. If you run a payroll, are you ready to give the information if you had 1099 contractors working for you? Do you have copies of all of your payroll reports, your 941s that was submitted on your behalf if you went through a third-party service? If you have buildings and you have expenses, do you have those expenses separated from your personal information? For the business account, do you have all of those business bank statements downloaded and ready, or even have your paper copies ready? You know, if you do, that's a jump start. That is a big help for your taxpayer/accountant. Now, again, I say if you don't have it ready, what are you waiting for? We have 25 more days before this year ends. And before you know it, January going to be here and you're going to be like, man, something came up. I got to do this. I got to do this. And then you look up, it's going to be April. And where did the time go? Right? Right. So don't wait. Now, you have to be aware and you have to know what's going on. So that's why I'm here to let you know that it's not too late. Now is the time where you can get in and start scheduling your appointments with your accountants and your preparers. Be the first to get on the list, because guess what? That allots you maybe some extra time where errors could be caught. Extra information that's out there that's beneficial to you could potentially help you. So now you're giving us time to work versus coming in and you want a rush job with a miracle outcome. That's not going to happen. That's not being realistic. Now, make the appointment. If you're thinking, I'm going to wait till next year, think about how many other people are thinking the same thing. Don't be like them. Be a step ahead of the game. And guess what? If you're my clients, I had you on the schedule this year, and I asked a few clients, hey, guess what? How did you feel when it was early? Like you had your stuff done and over with by August 1st. I'm calling you in October. Like, how do you feel? And all of them said, you know what, Shavonna, I feel good. Like it was a weight off my shoulders. Like, I can't wait till next year come. Don't wait till next year. Get on my calendar right now. Let's talk about it. So get on your accountant's calendar, people. If you're a business owner, please make sure you get on your accountant's calendar. It's going to be so helpful for you. If you have not done so, reconcile your accounts, balance them, double check your bank statements. You're going to want to look for deductions. You're going to want to look for credits. You're going to want to look for if anything was missed, what changes happened, because tax season changed every year. And the question that I get the most is, am I going to receive earned income credit? Will I get earned income credit? There's a possibility you may. It's not a guarantee. There are qualifications that come with that for you to receive those credits. But if you get in early and make that appointment, now is your time to sit and say, these are all my questions. I have this. Can you answer this? Make sure your documents are organized and ready for your preparer as that business owner, because you're going to be bringing over a lot of documents, not just bank statements. You may have credit card statements that one has to go through. You may be doing sales tax. It just depends on the services that your business offers and what goes with that. So your information is going to be a little bit more extensive. So make sure you at least have it separated and ready to go. Now, again, I can't stop saying this. Them payroll reports are going to be so vital. You're going to also want to have the receipts, because if that third party company made the payments for you on your payroll, whether it was bi-weekly, semi-monthly, monthly, then you should have a receipt that that payment went into the state and that payment went into the EFTPS system on your company's behalf, because you're paying into your payroll taxes as you should. So that's your proof. That gets reported on your income tax. So yes, it's best to have those copies. It's very, very important to have those copies. You need that to turn it over to your preparer. And if you don't have it, you want to start collecting that now, because again, January is almost here. And if the business is not connected to you, your return is going to be due on March 15th. So let's start helping one another and getting our documents in order. Now, here are some small steps that everybody can take. And I wrote them down because I wanted to make sure I had them in order, because I found out that these small steps help a lot of people. Talk about the tax changes and updates. It's okay to sit down and talk about it early. You don't have to wait until tax time to talk about tax laws and updates. Start talking about it in quarter 4, maybe at the end of quarter 3. A lot of information may be on the news, but your accountant or your preparer gets additional information from other resources that we utilize often, that we consider, like in the financial world, our Bibles, our go-tos. What credits and deductions do your company qualify for? In October, I talked about the work opportunity tax credit. A lot of companies were not aware that that's a credit to them, and it is. So if you were not aware of that, that's something new. So these are conversations that you can sit and have with your accountant that's going to be helpful for you and also considered as a deduction on your return. Now, this is also important for individuals. Completing your W-4 and ILW-4 forms. That is so important, how you complete those forms and answer those questions. That determines how your W-2 is going to look at the end of the year, especially if you have 2 or more jobs. There's a box on there, if you do, that says check this box if you have more than 2 jobs. And if you were unaware of that, this is probably why you may be at a deficit at the end of the year. That's not a solid answer, but that's potentially one of the answers. I talked about this in the shows that I hosted in July. Please go to the YouTube channel and watch that. That is so very, very, very important. Now, completing and submitting current W-9 forms. If you hired contractors, you want to stay on top of your documents. Your paperwork is just as important because you're submitting this paperwork to your preparer or accountant to prepare these 1099s. So get an updated W-9 that should have their name, the company's name, the EIN number. If they're not using the EIN number and using their social, put their social there, have them sign dated. Get a copy of their ID. Get a copy of their EIN letter from the IRS. That's going to be so important for your records. You want to protect yourself. Business owners, yes. Make sure the name and the address is updated. Sometimes, life happens, things are going on, and this is one of the small mistakes that we make, not updating that address or waiting till the last minute, or we're thinking that if we done filled out this information through the United States Postal Services, all our mail is going to be routed. And 90% of the time that happens, but account for that other 10% that may have gotten missed. So let's do our due diligence and make sure that the name and address is updated. Make sure the contact information is updated. Your contact information is important. I need to be able to get in touch with you. I need a valid email address. I need a valid telephone number. Hey, if you have a fax machine, I need a valid fax number. I need to be able to get in contact with you. If your method of communication is via text message or a social media messenger, say that so we can get in contact with you, but we have to be able to reach you. So make sure your contact information is available. And I know I'm saying so much. I know I'm giving you a lot of information, but this is the time right now that you can utilize these next 25 days to get this information ready. Start getting yourself prepared for a great ending of 2025, going into a powerful 2026. Be ready. As the old cliche says, if you stay ready, you don't have to worry about getting ready. So, here's a question that I have as we're preparing for tax season, because everybody is talking about tax season now because they know we're in the month of December. They know soon these W-2s are going to be coming out. People are already planning right now. That's why it's so important to do and follow the tips that I just forewarned you about. So, my next question to everyone is, do you have a list of questions and comments ready for your accountant or your preparer? If you do not have a list ready, start making a list, because you never know how important your questions may be, even if it's only about earned income credit. What if it's about a new addition to the family? What if you got married? What if, sorry to say, there was a divorce? Anything can happen. A baby could come. A child could go to college. So you always want to be aware of the changes and if anything is going to affect you. So, how do you find out this information? Schedule a year-end check-in with your accountant. That's so important. Not just making that appointment, but just say, hey, I want to schedule a 15-minute check-in with you. Look, I know we're at the end of the year. Just going off the information I got from you last year, nothing has really changed, but I got a few updates. So can you tell me what I need? And it could be just as simple as that. Or it could be, I had a few changes. I'm not sure how things are looking. I don't even know if I have everything that I'm supposed to have. So can I set that appointment with you just so you can tell me what I need to get ready? And then when I'm ready, I could come in for my consultation. That's important because now you're letting your preparer know that, look, I'm trying to be a step ahead of the game. I just need some help right now, so I'm reaching out. And we appreciate that. We want that. If you're returning for the next season, make those appointments. That's important. Don't wait. Whether things stay the same or not. Some people have general questions, and sometimes that makes them stand still because they don't know the answers or they don't want to ask those questions. And here are some of the concerns that they have that I've ran across over the duration and the journey of me being a tax preparer. They want to know about the price of the service. That's important because they want to know how much they're spending. So that's a conversation you need to sit and have. That's why that check-in is important, because your preparer may charge by hour. They may charge by service. They may charge by form. You just never know. So that's why that's important for you to make that appointment with your accountant. You want to know what you're going to expect from your accountant. How often am I going to be working with you? Or is it something that we can do via email? Or do we have to meet virtually or in person? You want to know the expectations that you're going to receive from this individual that you're spending your money with. Now, do they provide the service that you're looking for? So if it's a specific service that you're looking for, you want to make sure that they're knowledgeable about the service that you're requesting and paying for. You don't want to get there and they say they know about the service and they don't know much of anything. You done paid your money and nothing got resolved. That's not a good look for you. So you want to also do your due diligence on the person that you are hiring for the service that you're looking for. Now, maybe you can refer them to someone. If you have a relationship with your accountant, your preparer, you know them, you are okay with them, like you just have nothing but wonderful, wonderful, wonderful accolades about them, like me, then you could refer them. That's okay. And we welcome that because we want to help. We want to get you ready for a powerful 2026. And again, in November, I did a phenomenal show. All of them are phenomenal. But I did one with my accountant, Miss Piper Parker, and we talked about time. We talked about money. And no, yes, the money is good, but your time is also important. So think about your time as you're waiting till the last minute and you're not being prepared, or you didn't make that appointment to help get prepared or reach out for help. Now it's like you're on this hamster wheel. You're spinning around because now I got to do this with the accountant. I got to do this. It's a lot of back and forth when that could have all been eliminated when you could have just made the appointment. Now, you've been actively keeping in touch with your appointment. That's good. I have clients that call me on a regular and say, hey, I got a question about this. Shavonna, I got a question. Is the moon going to come out tonight? Like, it doesn't matter. They call, and I appreciate that. I warrant every question. And if it's something that I don't know the answer to, I always let them know. Give me some time to do my research because I want to give you the best answer and I want to get it from a reputable source and I want to make sure it's the right answer because not only am I helping you, but I could also take this information and help someone else. What if this question comes across my desk again? So now I've also helped myself in enhancing what I know based off your question. That's why it's so important to me how you feel. Now, you're prepared to fill out intake forms. A lot of returning customers don't want to fill out those forms, and they say, wait, this is a good one. Man, Shavonna, you know me, man. You've been doing my stuff for years, man. Come on, man. Or I'm your best friend. Do I really got to do that? I'm your niece. Is that important? Man, Shavonna, we go all the way back, man. I really got to do. Yes, you have to fill out forms. Pay attention, people. If you ever go to the doctor, they're going to have you to fill out a new form every time you go in there. My doctor does. So, yes, because things change, information change, insurances change, everything changes. So, yes, fill out your intake forms, your service agreements. Read those. Don't just initial and sign it. Read it. Because if something doesn't go your way, your preparer or accountant is going to say, per the service agreement. And then you're going to say, well, I didn't see that. My question is going to be, did you read it? Because if you didn't read it, that's how come you didn't see it. Now, again, you want to talk about major changes. If there were major changes, let's say you went out and bought a piece of property. Let's say you started investing heavily. So these are additional concerns that you want to bring to your account or your preparer. Say, hey, this is what else I tackled. This is what else I picked up in 2025. Am I doing this correctly? Can you help me? Am I on the right path with this? How is this going to affect my tax situation? Should I be withholding more taxes? Like, these are conversations that need to be had. So that is going to be so very, very, very important. So again, let's go back to those questions I asked. And the very, very, very first question is, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to end 2025? Are you ready for 2026? And not just 2026 tax season. Are you ready to start creating a monthly budget? Are you ready to know what your sources of income is? Are you ready to know your tax bracket? Are you ready to know how much taxes you need to have withheld so you're not at a deficit at the end of the year? Are you ready? Are you ready to know where all of your money is going versus you saying, I'm able to pay this and cover this. I'm staying afloat. Are you ready to know how much? What are your expenses? Can some of those expenses be eliminated? Does a service provider that you have offer that service for you for the service that you have? Meaning, like T-Mobile offers Netflix. So I don't have to pay for Netflix because I have it through the phone provider. So that's also something to think about if you're paying for subscriptions. So again, are you ready? And this is on a business and individual side. I'm not excluding anyone because everyone has income. Everyone has expenses. My next question is, and that's 25 days left. Again, have you sat and looked at your finances for the year? Have you sat and just looked at your check stub and said, for the year, this is how much I've made? Wow. For the whole year. Then, did I receive any other income? Did I have a side job? Meaning, did I do DoorDash? Did I do Uber? Was I a hairstylist? Did I paint portraits? Did I teach piano or tap dance lessons? What other sources of income did I get? Did I sell dinners? Like, did I receive any other sources of income? Well, were you receiving royalties? Do you have a property attached to you where you collect rent? That is a source of income that's on the business side that you need to separate from you personally. If you have other sources of income that does not have an EIN number attached to it and your social is attached to it, you're going to be receiving a 1099 NEC. But you had expenses with some of those. Are you aware of those write offs? Have you sat down and put those together? Have you done your calculations for that? Do you know what you're able to deduct? And if the answer is no, I don't know, maybe, I think so, yes, I'm going to do it. Now is the time to make that appointment with your accountant. Get in. Don't wait. Again, out of this, what do you think you need to spend the most attention on? Is it prioritizing? Is it putting all your source documents together, keeping them in order? Is it reconciling your bank statement, knowing what's in your account? Is it managing more than one account? Is it the expenses? What needs the most attention? Where do you feel like you could delegate other responsibilities and just put your focus here, or say, this is out of my league, I'm going to get bookkeeping services? That's where you make those decisions that's going to better you and also better the business. Because again, you want to know what's coming in and you want to know what's going out, even if you are at a standstill. So that was another question that I had. Now, again, are all your documents in order and ready? If for some strange reason they said, you know what, taxes is over December 10th, have all your documents in by January 1. Is everybody ready? I know I am for the business side. Absolutely ready. Got it ready to send over to Miss Piper, because I don't want to be the one preaching and not practicing what I'm preaching. And plus, I want to know where I am. I want to know what can I do to improve, to better this. And this is where those conversations come in at. So, yes, that was a question that I had. Another question that I have for everyone is, do you have a list of questions and concerns or comments already ready for your preparer or accountant? I know I do. I think I got maybe 8 so far, but that's because things change. Things happen, not just with the business, but maybe with me. Maybe I hired on 15 people. Maybe someone donated $10 million. Maybe I invested. I don't know what it is, but hey, I got it. It happened. So what? But that's a conversation I can sit and have with my accountant. So if you don't have those list of questions together, get those questions together. It is so important and so vital. Please don't think that it's not, because it is. It's very, very, very important. And not just for you. Think about the time that you're saving, not just your accountant, and think about the money that you're saving. Because again, whether it's by service, by hour, that money adds up. So think about that. So schedule those appointments, people. Now, here is what I would like for you to take away. I would like for you to start by reviewing and reconciling. That's going to be a major step. Again, Go through all of your income, go through all of your expenses, make sure nothing is missing. Sit back and think, what did I do for tax year 2025? Did I stick with one job? Did I have a side hustle or a side business? What did I do? Let me think now, because I don't want to wait till next year and potentially file, and then I get a letter stating I have unreported income. So let me get a handle on that now. If it's too much, if you're an individual and or business, if just keeping up with all this information is too much, sit down with your accountant or your preparer. Talk about those bookkeeping services. Talk about how those services are going to potentially help you and what it's going to do for you. Like, that is so very, very, very important. Organize your documents. Take these next 25 days, even if you start with an hour a day, and maybe you could increase that to 2 hours. Then maybe you will feel like you're in your groove. You accomplished this task. It's going to be off your shoulders. You could give it away. Maybe that'll increase to 3 hours. But gather your receipts, gather your bank statements, your credit card statements, your invoices. Be as prepared as you could possibly be. Leverage your year-end opportunities. That's going to be a big one for everybody. What that means is, because I preach tax laws change every year, they don't stay the same. So we're going to be looking for any deductions, any credits, any financial strategies that can help optimize your taxes for 25, whether it's investing. You may have depreciation that could help with your taxable income and your bottom line number. How is this going to work in your favor? Schedule and plan. Book that year-end appointment with your preparer and your accountant. Have your checklist ready. Have your questions ready. Don't wait. People, please don't wait. Please. So, before I go ahead and close the show, I just want to say thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk Finance on this spectacular Saturday. I appreciate any and everyone that's live streaming or that's going to go back and watch it. Again, let's make this information go viral. Let's hit that share button. If there's any comments, please put it in the section. I read them. I sit down at the rectangular and circle table and I talk to my staff about this. It is so very, very important. Like, I don't take you all for granted. Share that information. Subscribe to that YouTube channel if you have not subscribed to that channel yet. And I just want to give a special shout out to Renato Burns. Like, tell you how much of a blessing Anointed Accounting has been. The gentleman called about 3 weeks ago and he said, I really got a problem. I need some help. And I said, okay, let me give you a call in a couple hours. I'm working with someone. I actually called him back in a few hours, as I stated I would. And, he and I talked. And as he and I talked, I heard the stress in this gentleman's voice. And, I was just so determined to help him with everything that was in me. I asked him, how did he hear about us? He said, oh, he was just on the website and I came up. So he contacted me. He told me his situation. I diligently started doing my research. I had my questions ready because I knew I was going to have another appointment with him. We sat down for 3 days and we made calls totaling about 9.5 hours. And just to hear the relief that was lifted off of this gentleman's shoulders had me in tears. And I was so glad that I was able to help him. And so, to get to the good part, The gentleman, we had never saw each other. We only had spoke on the phone. That's it. Nothing else. I didn't know him. He didn't know me. And he told me, he called yesterday and he said, "Hey, I got something for you. I want to know if I can drop it off." And I'm like, "Sure, no problem." Because again, he's getting ready to close out 2025. So I'm excited that he's listening to me. And we just talked maybe 3 weeks ago. And so I got up this morning and I'm like, wait, no, I haven't talked to him about that because we're still fixing the concern that was initially brought to my attention. So, what is going on here? So, the gentleman called Mr. Burns when he was outside of my home office and he bought me the prettiest table. Him and his wife had designed it with anointed accounting, the logo, the name, and it had majority of the mathematical symbols. And that was just a blessing to me. Like, y'all know how I am. Everybody say I'm dramatic. And he just saw that and he couldn't do nothing but laugh. I think I hugged him about 6 times and he was like, "I ain't got these many hugs in some years." He said, "Well, I'm so glad you appreciate it. I just really appreciate you taking the time to listen to me and to help me." That meant more to me than anything. Because again, he said I listened to him and I helped him. Never saw me and entrusted me with all of his important information. And anointed accounting got the case resolved. And I'm just so elated that, he's happy with us. We're happy with him. And things are just working in our favor. So this is what word of mouth does. This is why this is so important to share this content. And I just wanted to share that testimony with you all because believe it or not, you all make a difference. You all help me. And I hope and pray that I am helping y'all. Now, the time has also come for our final guest of 2025. Our guest was supposed to be here in November, but due to the weather incline, guess what? We postponed it. And Nurse Shayla will be in the studio next Saturday. So make sure y'all tune in. That show is going to be so phenomenal. Like the real life of a nurse. Like, we've all been to the emergency room. Like, we all see things, but we see it from our perspective. And if you're like me, I done watched Nurse Jackie. I done saw Resident. So I done watched a couple of shows, Law and Order. And it's like, is it really truly like this? So to have a nurse out here to answer those concerns and talk about how it battles and plays with the mental, how it encompasses the financial side, how to balance life and work and separate everything so you can still remember who you are as an individual and stepping outside of what your title is. So I'm just so excited for that show next week. I cannot wait. So be prepared. Tell everybody. Tell everybody to tell everybody and tell everybody to tell everybody to tell everybody else. We gonna make it a big old party. Why not? So, again, people, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new here, I am on all social media platforms under Anointed Accounting, ANOINTED, ACCOUNTING. The website is www.anointedaccountings.com. Our contact number is area code 312-837-7219. Again, people, enjoy your Saturday. Take care of you. Check on someone. Check on yourself. Remember, 25 more days. Are you ready? Be prepared to close out 2025 and go in powerful to January 2026. I will see y'all next Saturday on the 13th. Lord's will. I love y'all. Bye.